The story begins on November 9th, 1989, as Spain's National Meteorology Institute reports an unusual electrical storm spreading across the northern part of the country. Rotating supercells may last for 72 hours, bringing heavy rain and possible electrical and communication failures. At the same time, television news covers the opening of the Berlin Wall. 12-year-old Nico Lasarte records himself playing guitar at home. His mother, Maria, leaves for work and reminds him not to stay up late. Later, Nico hears shouting from the house next door. He goes inside and finds his neighbor Hilda Weiss lying motionless. Then her husband, Ángel Prieto, appears carrying a knife. Terrified, Nico runs from the house as Ángel follows him outside. Nico rushes into the street and a passing vehicle strikes him. Aitor Medina, Nico's best friend, and nearby residents run to help, but Nico dies. 25 years later, Vera Roy wakes in the same house with her husband, David Ortiz, and their daughter, Gloria. The family has just moved in. Vera takes Gloria to school while David returns from a business trip and promises to come home after his meetings. Nearby, adult Aitor visits his mother, Clara Medina. Clara notices the approaching storm and becomes uneasy because it resembles the storm from 1989. Vera soon meets Aitor, an old friend who once likes her, and invites him and Clara to dinner. News reports confirm that the storm has nearly the same structure as the one 25 years earlier. At the hospital, Vera works as a nurse and assists neurosurgeon Dr. Fell. Fell believes Vera has the talent to become a doctor, but Vera explains that she leaves that path after Gloria enters her life. After work, Vera picks up Gloria. Back home, she finds a photograph of David with his ex-girlfriend, Ursula Abad, and they laugh about it. While cleaning another room, Vera and David discover an analog television, video camera, and several tapes belonging to Nico. They play one recording and see Nico performing with his guitar as the electrical storm outside grows stronger. Later, the television suddenly turns on with no tape playing. Instead of Nico's recording, it shows a news broadcast from November 1989. Vera and David are confused, but assume the old equipment is malfunctioning. That evening, Aitor and Clara arrive for dinner. When David mentions the tapes, Aitor recognizes Nico and explains that Nico is his childhood best friend. Nico enters Ángel Prieto's house after hearing a disturbance, apparently sees Hilda's murder, then dies after running into the road. Clara stops the story because she does not want Gloria frightened. Later, David searches online and learns that Ángel commits suicide in his cell 3 months after entering prison. The article says he owns a slaughterhouse and confesses that he plans to bury Hilda beneath it before police arrest him. Vera changes the subject when she finds cigarettes among David's things. He claims he smokes only one and throws the rest away. In the middle of the night, Vera wakes and sees the television glowing again. Lightning strikes outside, the equipment activates, and the screen shows Nico in 1989. Even more disturbing, Nico can see and hear Vera. The storm somehow creates a live connection across 25 years. Vera initially shuts the television off in fear, but then remembers how Nico dies. She turns it back on and tries to save him. Nico notices the old Valpineda station sign behind Vera, while Vera explains that she lives in his house 25 years in the future. She shows him the report about his death and warns him not to leave. Nico thinks it is a trick, so Vera gives him proof. She predicts that lightning will hit the clock at his school the next morning, cutting the electricity and canceling classes. When shouting begins again at Angel's house, Vera desperately orders Nico to stay inside until the connection collapses. The next morning, Nico tells Maria that a woman from the future speaks to him through the television. At the same time, Vera wakes inside the hospital. Staff members call her Dr. Roy and tell her a patient is waiting in the operating room. Vera becomes terrified when everyone treats her as a neurosurgeon. In 1989, Nico reaches school and sees Vera's prediction come true when the storm knocks out the power and classes are suspended. In the altered present, Vera races to Gloria's school, But Greta and teacher Miranda have no idea who she is. There is no student named Gloria Ortiz. Vera goes to David's office next. David does not recognize her and insists he has no daughter named Gloria. Vera realizes that saving Nico changes the chain of events that leads to her marriage and Gloria's birth. Meanwhile, Nico stays with Aitor after school and says he hears a woman screaming from Angel's house the previous night. Clara acts as though she knows nothing, even though the subject clearly unsettles her. With nowhere else to turn, Vera goes to the police and speaks with Inspector Leira. He confirms that Vera never marries David, Gloria has no birth record, and Vera does not live at the address she remembers. In this reality, Vera becomes a successful neurosurgeon instead of leaving medicine. Back in 1989, Nico waits for Vera to appear again and draws the woman he sees on the screen. The television briefly shows signs of another connection, but someone in the future disconnects it. Nico also begins watching Angel and Clara because their behavior seems suspicious. Doctors examine Vera and find no neurological damage. Dr. Fell shows her the life she supposedly lives. David is once her patient, and Vera successfully removes his meningioma. Fell also explains that Vera recently loses a high-risk patient named Lorena Garcia during surgery, suggesting the trauma may explain her strange memories. Vera refuses to believe Gloria is imaginary. Vera notices the storm and realizes it may be the key. If saving Nico changes reality, contacting him again may restore Gloria. She leaves the hospital and searches for anything connected to Nico Lessart. In 1989, Nico secretly enters Angel's house while Angel is away. He discovers Hilda's body and evidence that someone is trying to make it look as though she leaves for Germany. Nico also takes a gold watch. Angel suddenly returns, forcing Nico to hide while Angel deals with Hilda's body. In the altered present, Vera breaks into her former house looking for Nico's television and camera. Online, she finds a novel called Mirage by physicist and writer Karen Sardone, based on a boy who believes a woman from the future speaks to him through a television. Ursula catches Vera inside the house. In this reality, she is David's wife and lives there with him. David recognizes Vera only as the neurosurgeon who operates on him and calls the police. Vera insists that David is her husband in another life and that they have a daughter named Gloria, but both think she is unstable. When the power fails, Vera escapes. Outside, Vera hides near Angel's property and discovers another change. Angel is alive and now lives with Clara as her husband. Aitor treats him as family. Inspector Leira arrives searching for Vera, but she avoids him. Vera later approaches Aitor before he leaves for the airport. She describes how they meet at Valpineta Station in 2001, take the same train, become close, and later go to the movies, where Aitor introduces her to David. In Vera's original life, she immediately falls for David. Aitor insists none of it happens. When Vera touches him, fragments of the altered timeline enter her mind, and she realizes Aitor is on the same train, but never sits across from her. Something prevents their friendship from beginning, so she never meets David through him. Vera tells Aitor that Angel is connected to Hilda's disappearance. Aitor becomes angry, saying Angel has been with Clara for years, and Hilda supposedly leaves him for another man in Germany. Vera now understands that Nico survives, but nobody believes his accusation. A television interview with Karen Sardone gives Vera another lead. Her novel is inspired by Maria Lessart, whose son is diagnosed with schizophrenia after claiming a woman from the future saves him. Inspector Leira finds Vera and takes her to Sardone. Sardone says Maria asks whether the 1989 storm could create a space-time distortion connecting two symmetrical moments. Vera believes the same equipment, location, and storm can reopen the connection. Since the storm is still active, she has only a limited window to reach Nico again. Leira agrees to help only if Vera gives him something real. Vera remembers Nico's accusation and says Hilda's body may be hidden beneath Angel's slaughterhouse. Police search the property and discover human remains inside a suitcase, proving Vera knows details no outsider should know. Lyra asks why Vera remembers a reality that no longer exists, and reminds her that this altered life may also contain people who care about her. Vera does not care. Her only goal is Gloria. Lyra secretly gives her information that he believes can lead her to Nico. The address takes Vera to a hotel, but instead of Nico, she finds Monica, a nurse from her hospital, and soon discovers David hiding inside the room. He is having an affair with Monica even though he is married to Ursula in this reality, confirming the suspicion created by the cigarettes in Vera's original life. Vera realizes David can help because he works at a bank. She threatens to expose his affair unless he searches for Nico Lasarte. David reluctantly checks the records and finds a customer named Nicolas Lasarte Lyra. Meanwhile, Hilda's remains reopen the 1989 case. Police question Angel and reconstruct what happens. Hilda never intends to abandon him for Berlin. She suspects Angel is having an affair with Clara and creates a false overnight delay so she can return unexpectedly and catch them together. Hilda confronts Angel and Clara, and a violent struggle follows. Clara fatally stabs Hilda. Afterward, Angel and Clara cover up the death by making it appear that Hilda travels to Germany. Clara impersonates Hilda, while her brother Roman helps create the false trail. The gold watch Nico takes becomes an important clue because it carries the initials C.M., Clara Medina. However, Angel reports the watch stolen. Official records also show financial activity and travel evidence placing Hilda in Berlin, so authorities dismiss Nico's story and make him return the watch. As Lyra describes Nico's life after the case, the truth becomes clear. Nico spends years trying to prove Vera is real. Psychologists and psychiatrists treat the story as a delusion, and eventually he pretends to stop believing so the treatment ends. But he never truly forgets the woman who saves him. Nico remembers one clue from the television, the Valpineda station sign. Years later, he waits there for the woman he knows must eventually appear. When Vera is supposed to meet Aitor, Nico deliberately places himself in her path instead. Their lives connect, and a new timeline forms around them. Vera reaches the address David finds and discovers that Inspector Lyra is actually Nicolas Lasarte Lyra, Nico himself. He has been helping her while hiding his identity. In this reality, Nico meets Vera before Aitor does, and Nico and Vera become a couple. His intervention prevents Vera from meeting David, so Gloria never exists. Nico admits that he recognizes Vera the moment she enters the police station. He hopes her altered memories will fade and that she will remember their life together. He also admits that he tests the old television during the storm, but disconnects it because he fears changing the past again. Vera demands the television and camera. She tells Nico to contact his younger self and grow up without obsessing over her. He must also stop pursuing Angel, because exposing him changes Clara's future, affects Aitor, and prevents Vera from meeting David and eventually having Gloria. Nico refuses because he loves Vera and does not want to lose their life together. When he embraces her, memories of their relationship flood into Vera's mind. She finally remembers the years they share, but those memories still cannot replace Gloria. With the storm almost over, Vera forces Nico to act. She gives him her watch, then jumps from the building, knowing he will do anything to save her. She reminds him that she saves his life once, and now it is his turn to save hers. Nico rushes to the old house, reconnects the television and camera, and reaches his younger self in 1989. He tells young Nico that he is his future self and gives instructions that stop his obsession with Vera and his interference in Angel's case. The choice sacrifices Nico's relationship with Vera, but restores the path leading to Gloria. Vera wakes beside David and immediately runs to Gloria's room. Gloria is alive, and Vera holds her in relief. She searches for the old camera and television, but David says those objects are never in the house. The new timeline resembles her original life, but it is not exactly the same. Vera finds evidence that David still cheats on her with Monica. She also sees Angel and Clara living freely together, meaning Hilda's murder remains hidden because Nico never pursues the case. Vera now knows where the truth is buried. That night, Vera goes to Angel's slaughterhouse and confirms that Hilda's remains are still there. She reports the body to the police, reopening the case without relying on Nico's childhood testimony. At the crime scene, Inspector Leira arrives. He is still Nico, but in this reality, he never grows up searching for Vera and has no memory of their relationship. Vera looks at him and says they already know each other. Nico stares back in confusion, while Vera knows that this time, their story can begin in the present.